Welcome to Racing to Win at Sha Tin this Sunday for an 11 race program, so a lot of winners to find. We've got Griffins Racing and Group Racing as well. Joined on the show to preview it all by Paul Lally and Tom Wooden. Tom, Lucky Swayness and California Spangle headline the action.
Yeah, they do, Mark. It should be a great afternoon at Sha Tin. 11 races. Hopefully the weather plays its part. Looks like it should do, but looking forward to seeing certainly Lucky Swayness again in the sprint, and California Spangle back to 1600 again as well.
It is, so they don't engage each other in this race, Paul. But what about jackpots for the meeting?
There's two, actually. We've got $4.5 million going into the triple trio, so that should get up over $8 million, and $200,000 going into the first double trio for races, the early races 1 and 2. So two really good jackpots there.
Okay, and we're going to have a look at the meeting details now for this one on Sunday. We have got both courses in use. There is racing on the all-weather and the turf. Just 2 on the all-weather and 9 on the B+2. First race, early start, 12:30 with the extra race, and we're going to preview, of course, the group races, the Sprint Cup and the Chairman's Trophy. Races 8 and 9 on the show. The Sprint Cup, the first of the two. Lucky Swayness comes back in distance after winning the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup last time. Wellington has cheek pieces on again. Cordyceps 6 is back in trip. Master 8 has the cheek pieces coming off. Rewarding together first time Group 2 and WizKid. All of his wins have been over 1,000 metres. So there might be 7 runners here, Tom, to look at on the speed map. The question is, where does Lucky Swayness settle? Yeah,
well, he's drawn barrier number 4, so he shouldn't be too far away. He should be able to stalk, really, the speed like he did last time out with the horse from the same stable, but it's WizKid this time round who will lead, and you'll have Lucky Swayness following him. Wellington won't be too far away. He again set off the pace last time out. Master 8, what do they do with him? Because he's a horse, Paul, that has raced handy and he's been trialling well, but when it comes to race day, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, so look, I thought, Lucky Swayness has sat first or second in most of his starts this season, and he did cross Wellington easy last time they met, so that's why I thought he'd cross him. Master 8, I think he'll probably just try and sit midfield. Maybe he'll try and push up and get outside Lucky Swayness. We'll see what happens. Rewarding together, I think he'll have to go back from his draw. He's drawn the widest.
That is the speed map for the Sprint Cup. Looking at the previous winners, though, Tom, and it was Wellington last year. He'll have to bet his very best to Lucky Swayness this year, though.
He will, but I think he's coming back to his favourite course and distance here is Wellington, an amazing star. Rattan also for Richard Gibson a few years ago, and to Beat the Clock, Paul.
Yeah, Beat the Clock was a very good horse here in Hong Kong, and Rattan, I remember him winning well.
It's a race that Richard Gibson has a good record in. He's got 2 runners this year with Wellington and Cordyceps 6. But it is Lucky Swayness that is the focus. Nick spoke to his jockey, Zach Purton.
On what you saw as a beaten rider behind him, how impressed were you?
Well, I was. Clearly I got it wrong. Not always going to get right. But, the thing with Lucky Swayness is, and like I said before the race, we don't know where his ceiling is yet. He's still improving, and he showed on again last start that certainly was the case. Now, I think California Spangle probably didn't turn up and give his best, but at the same time, Lucky Swayness clearly had him covered a long way out. It was a fairly soft win.
Zach, you've ridden a lot of good horses here. That goes without saying. We could talk for ages and a day discussing the horses that you have ridden, but have you ever known a horse rise as rapidly as this guy?
Oh, sure. There are a lot of horses that go through the ratings fairly quickly, right? He's not alone there, but he's a little bit unassuming in the fact that he's not great out of the gate, so you've got to ride him along a lot of the time to get a position, and that was still the case last start. James was lucky that there wasn't a lot of speed in the race because he did begin a bit sluggishly, but he was able to get his spot fairly comfortably because there just wasn't the pressure in the race. But he certainly doesn't help you from the gate, so that's always a concern with him, and then you don't really know what type of position you're going to get. And then as well as that, what is his best distance? Yeah. Is it 1,200, is it 14, could it be a mile? We're still trying to work that out as well.
I guess if we look at it from an assessor's point of view, he's only £1 below Golden 60 at this stage, £2 higher than Wellington, who's a champion sprinter. So I guess the figures suggest that, as you say, we don't quite know where he's at just yet.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be interesting to see how he would measure up against Golden 60, and maybe we'll see that at some stage. But the handicap is certainly rates him highly, and I suppose you got to on what he's done.
How has he felt coming into this weekend? Like you galloped him recently. The gallop visually, to those that weren't on board, of course, looked quite impressive.
Yeah, he's a gem to do anything with in the mornings. He's getting quieter and quieter as he progresses. It's so much so, he wants to stand around at the track in the morning and have a look, walking out and walking back. So I think he knows he's above average, and hopefully he can continue to keep winning.
Zach Purton on Lucky Sweynesse. Tom, as we pull up the graphic card on the favourite for the race, and you can see there his record at Sha Tin is great, and his record at the distance is not too bad either.
Yeah, Man from Man's done a terrific job with this horse. He had exactly everything to suit him last time out, Paul. I don't think probably California Spangle went quite quick enough in one of those early sections just to take that powerful sprint out of him at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And look, what's his best distance? You know, he's going so well over the 12, 14. Lucky Sweynesse, the 12 is going to be no problems here for him, I think.
Okay, so that is what is going to be the likely favourite. Lucky Sweynesse, a report on him. Here we've got Master 8, Paul. Courier Wonder second, Rewarding Together fifth. Courier Wonder's had a start after this. He ran fourth behind Lucky Sweynesse. This is behind Duke Y 2 starts ago.
Yeah, look, of the three, he's the one I'm going to take out, Courier Wonder. Master 8's just not putting it together on the racetrack for me, so I can't have him. And Rewarding Together, look, his best runs have all been at Happy Valley, I think, so I'm just a little bit worried about him here. But Courier Wonder's going nicely.
He sort of held his ground sort of the last 200 metres there to Rewarding Together, and to Courier Wonder. They did try him up over 1,400 metres, and I don't think that was too bad for him, really, Courier Wonder. He'd get his chance here, I think, in this race.
Right, they've experimented a little bit with Courier Wonder this season, also raced over 1,000 not too long ago. Where is Cordyceps 6 at, Tom? Here he is running fourth last time. This is the race won by Beluga.
Yeah, well, they lined him up, of course, in the classic mile market. Not many people expected him to see out that sort of trip, but he did. Then they brought him back and tripped to 1,400 metres. But this is definitely his course and distance go this time round to Cordyceps 6. And I think he's in this a long way, Paul. He's, of course, only got the 1, 2, 3 on his back. He's definitely in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, he goes in for me as well. I've got him in. Cordyceps 6, you're right. I think 1,200 metres is his ideal distance.
OK, well, Master 8, Paul, you mentioned him not too long ago. He's been trialling like a jet, but he just can't reproduce it on race day.
Yeah, and a lot of it's been on the all-weather, isn't it? So, look, there's obviously no all-weather races for him. He's way up in the ratings at 105 at the moment, but look, the trials are fine, everything's good, but he's just not putting it on race day. So I can't have him until I see him do that.
Yeah, he's been way out of sorts recently, this guy. You look at certainly some of his better races here in Hong Kong. When he won his first 5, he was up leading in 3 of them, and they haven't been able to lead with him in sort of since then. So whether he needs that sort of lead at all costs, and that's what he can do, maybe he's just that sort of one-dimensional horse.
They did try him with cheek pieces in that last start too. Didn't work at all, so they've come straight off for this race on Sunday. Lucky Sweynesse wins, Paul?
I think so. Look, everything we've seen so far from Lucky Sweynesse suggests he can win this race, and I think he can beat Wellington, but that's a quinella for me, 1 to beat 2. Courier Wonder in there for 3rd, and Cordyceps 6, easy as 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 4 and 3 for me. I think Lucky Sweynesse is definitely the horse to beat. Number 1 over the 2, that is Wellington. 4, Cordyceps 6, and Courier Wonder goes in on a 4th line for Hugh Bowman and John Size. 1, 2, 4 and 3.
And that is the preview for the Sprint Cup. Off to a break here on Racing to Win. Back with more group racing to look at right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Just before we get on to the Chairman's Trophy, Hong Kong Direct this week features an interview with New Zealand trainer Andrew Forsman, and you can hear more from Zach Purton, extended interviews from what are on the show today. Jump on the website hkjc.com, click on audio and video. Now we can focus on the Chairman's Trophy, which is the Group 2 over the 1,600 metres. And the field lines up this way with California Spangle at the top of the book. No Lucky Sweynesse for him to be concerned about this week. Waikuku, 3-time course and distance winner. We've also got Tourbillon Diamond coming back from the 2,000 to the 1,600. Same for Money Catcher. Running Glory, Group 2. Debut for him, Healthy Happy. He struggled his last 2, but he has been back to the trials since. Now, the speed map here, Tom, with Healthy Happy in the race and California Spangle, who both like to go forward. The Spangle does look the leader, though.
He does, but there is certainly alternate options in the race. Healthy Happy, if they want to press forward, they certainly can, and even to an extent, Paul Money Catches another one that can race handy, but I thought probably that the most likely out of those two would be Healthy Happy to maybe apply some pressure to California.
Could well do, yeah, and Money Catches back and trip a little bit as well. When he has run over the 1,600 metres, he normally does take a sit. Beauty Joy, the stablemate of California Spangle, put pressure on him, didn't he, a couple of starts ago? And from barrier number 1, I think he would try and slot in. I thought California Spangle will get to that lead because he's drawn 2, whereas Healthy Happy has to come across from 6.
The only thing they'd want, certainly with Beauty Joy, is for him to not over-race.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, that's he has missed a race or 2 Beauty Joy in the interim between his last start. But we are going to hear from Zach Purton shortly after we have a look at the past winners, Tom.
Yeah, Golden 60 last year, but he's not fronting up. Mighty Giant, he was always a consistent galloper, and of course Beauty Generation that's been dominated by the Beauty Connections.
Yeah, they won those two, and then of course Beauty only won as well back in 2018. So very good horses have won this race.
Find out if he thinks another very good horse can win this year's race. Here is Nick with the jockey of California Spangle, Zach Purton.
Moving on to the horse that he beat last time, the horse he rode, of course, was California Spangle. My first question is, in your opinion, do you feel he's got the recognition he deserves as a Hong Kong mile winner? I'm sort of the opinion that he maybe doesn't get the full recognition. What's your take on it?
Well, he's always overshadowed by Golden 60, right? And rightly so. He's got an unbelievable record. He's the best horse we've probably seen here. He's won everything, and we have to keep coming up against him. So yeah, sure. There's always that part that Golden 60 is the better horse, and he sort of has to do something wrong on the day for us to beat him. But does that mean that California Spangle's not a great horse? No, it doesn't. He certainly is a very good horse. And when he's presented with the opportunity, he gets the job done himself.
And I guess what he has done and what he has achieved, a lot of horses would have to go a lifetime to try and do what he's done. I mean, he's run placed in derbies, he's won classic cups, he's won sprints, he's won miles. He's a bit out of the box, isn't he, really?
He is. If you sit down and have a look at his numbers and look at his record, he's a serious horse. But he's just been overshadowed by a giant. But I love riding him. He's a great horse to ride. He's a good horse to look at. He's got a great racing style, and he's still got a fair bit of racing ahead of him.
Yeah, you've certainly never hid your sort of affection for the horse and your admiration for his trainer. Tony Cruz has gone on record this week leading up to this meeting as being a little bit concerned regarding weather and ground. He's never raced on anything worse than good. I guess you don't know till you try, but how do you think a horse like him might operate on it should there be a little bit of dig in the ground?
It's hard to say. He generally trials all right on the all-weather track, and sometimes they can give us a little bit of a guide, but he is so brilliant on top of fast ground that it would be something to consider, and obviously he has to give the 5 pound weight penalty away in this race to the other runners, so that always evens things up a little bit as well.
I guess all in all, they both come through their races well. It's two very nice trials leading into the end of April.
Yeah, they're both in good form, they're both fit and healthy, and they're ready to go.
That is Zach's thoughts on California Spangle. Tom, we're going to see a replay again now, which does feature California Spangle in it. It's the Queen's Silver Jubilee. And yes, we're drawing it down here. I think I know that by now. Here is California Spangle. There he is leading, and Waikuku is sitting in behind him. This is the start time of the year where Waikuku starts to say, that's enough for the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and he's put in some sort of ordinary performances down through the seasons at this time of the year, has Waikuku, and he was well beaten last time out over the 1400 metres. This certainly would be more up his alley, but whether he's going that well, I'm not overly sure. And I just think this time round, Paul, as I said, so when we were talking about Lucky Sweynesse, I think the race was run to suit Lucky Sweynesse last time out, not California Spangle.
Yeah, I agree totally. And look, I think California Spangle, look, I'd be very surprised if Waikuku could turn it around on California Spangle looking at that race.
You can look at those times there as well. The 22.85 standard did go quicker in that third section, but I think sort of the damage was done for California Spangle when they went 22.77 in that early sectional there when standards 22.1, where he could have put a bit more acid on.
And there is his report card, Paul.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? When you'd love to own a horse like this, and look, he's just so versatile, this horse, over different distances. We saw him as a Griffin, and we've seen him go right through, win an 1800 metre race. The 1600 looks ideal for him.
It does indeed. No Golden 60 or Lucky Sweynesse to worry about this week for him either. We move on now, Tom, to Beauty Joy and Healthy Happy in this race. So Beauty Joy, he's running third up on the outside. Healthy Happy's in the lead, but he is just not finding the line at all.
No, he was head at the 250. We'll see that shortly. But just wanted to highlight here, this is Beauty Joy carrying on like he normally does. And this occasion, his rider, Zach Purton, had to give him his head. So when he wanted to get it up at a couple of points there again, just coming off the back straight. But it's just what he does, Paul. Yeah,
that's the big query. Look, he's got Hugh Bowman aboard on the weekend, and Hugh's got very kind hands. And so hopefully he can get him to settle, because if I think he can settle, I think he can actually run a placing in this race.
You can see Healthy Happy there on the inside, to just not finishing off at all. He'll be up on the pace for sure here. He's had a trial up at Chung Fa since, but you can see he's giving ground there rapidly to those opposition there in a lower graded race.
He's a horse that had run in the race last year too. Healthy Happy finished down the track. This is the trial, Tom, since Beauty Joy's last start. What did you make of it?
Yeah, so he's had a heart irregularity back on the 14th of March, which was why he did miss a race. And so look, the trial looked to finish off quite well here. This is Master 8 winning the trial. You've got Cordyceps 6 in it as well. I didn't think there was too much wrong with it. I like the way he found the line at the end.
Yeah, me too. And he wasn't pushed out at all, was he? So it was just a nice, good, quiet trial for him. Look, he looks like he's over that heart issue and he's going well.
It's a comprehensive report from the boys on Beauty Joy. Next up, Paul, we've got the little horse, Running Glory. He's like the little engine who could. He thinks he can, he thinks he can. Sometimes he does.
Yeah, and look, he's been placed in Group 3. Company, he's up here into Group 2. Look, I don't know if he's quite up to this grade. Look, but you're right, he's got a massive heart, this horse.
Yeah, he certainly does. So he was £980 for his last two outings, £979, £973. So he's certainly not big, but Chase Champion Dragon here hard, but this is a lot stronger. That's Spirited Express, I think, who's come out and won since, but it's another big step up for him here. I don't think he's up to it.
OK, that is Running Glory. And next up, we are going to go to Money Catcher, who's leading at this stage. There he is down on the rail. He does like to go forward in his races. And Tourbillon Diamond back to the 1,600 metres here, Tom. That is him back in the field. Money Catcher, as we mentioned in the speed map, he can lead, but there are a number in this race that can.
Yeah, there are, and I don't think they probably will take the option of leading with him here. He's given some great sights at Group 1 level. He hasn't been beaten overly far here behind Golden 60, Romantic Warrior, and of course he ran third to Romantic Warrior going back to International Day. So he's run sort of well past his mark, I think, Paul, and he's in a long way. I don't know that he can beat California Spangle, though.
No, I don't either. They've given him a freshen up as well, so he's coming in slightly here at 1,600 metres. He's been up at Chung Fa, and look, I think the horse is going pretty well. Obviously, he's very consistent at Group 1 level, so I'm going to include him.
Speaking of Chung Fa, here is the trial that he has had up there on a pretty gloomy morning. That's Money Catcher there. Healthy Happy, Paul, also in this trial. He's down on the rail. They trialled on the turf this day. Yeah,
of the two, look, I'm more interested in Money Catcher than Healthy Happy. I just think Healthy Happy's not going as well as we've seen in the past, and he does drop away early, and I don't think he's going to get he's not going to get his own way in front, that's for sure. But Money Catcher, nice trial from him, so yeah, I'm definitely going to include him.
Yep, it was easy enough here. On Healthy Happy, if the race was probably over 1,400 metres and he was going a bit better, he'd be in a fair way with his racing style, but that's not the case at the moment.
That is Healthy Happy, and some concerns with him and his current form. Tourbillon Diamond, Tom, this is a Happy Valley trial. Tony Cruz has really pumped the miles in the legs since his last start towards the end of February. 2 trials, this one 1,700 at Happy Valley and also one 1,600 at Sha Tin.
Yeah, 42 days since his last run. This is the 1,700 metre trial at Happy Valley. I know he's run sort of second at Group 2 level in the past, Paul, but I'm not convinced he's right up there with the elite level, this horse.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. So, yeah, with him. So, look, I can't see these horses beating California Spangle.
All right, so that is a look at the runners. What about Tony Cruz and his season, Paul? 35 from 377 at the moment. Always
has a good season, and look, he just keeps going. The horses just keep winning throughout. You know, he's having a good season to date, I think, and look, he's got you know, some really good horses in here, obviously, with both California Spangle and also Beauty Joy as a backup horse. WizKid. Like he's going to be a pace influence. I like California deeply, and I know Tom likes him coming to the Straight 1000.
Yeah, he's in the sixth race. Circuit Stella, he's looking for 3 on the bounce of Golden Cena in the same race. And California Sybil probably not out of the last. He's had a little bit of a quiet spell over the last couple of meetings. Only had 4 wins across the last 10 meetings.
And he steps up to the 1,400 California Sybil for the first time. Who wins this one, Paul?
I think California Spangle wins. Something will have to go wrong for him to get beaten. I think this is his chance to shine, California Spangle. We're going to put his stablemate Beauty Joy. As long as he settles in the trail, we get the perfect run. Money Catcher, and then Waikuku in for 4th, but 1-4-5-2.
Yeah, California Spangle wins. He'll dictate off the front, and he'll be very tough to beat. Money Catcher goes in. Beauty Joy and Tourbillon Diamond just on a minor line. Trials have been okay. 1, 5, 4 and 3.
All the group racing action covered here on Racing to Win, but there are 9 other races outside of the 2 we've seen here. Paul, give us some winners.
Well, I thought Carrying Victory and the Griffin, obviously none of them have been to the races before, but his trials have been very good. El Valiente must be close to win. It's not a strong race. He's in. I like Red Elegance. He's a first starter in race 3. Nice birdie. He's got a good draw. He's going to get his opportunity. Smiling Collector's been a bit disappointing, but I think he can break through as well. We Are Heroes going so well. Happy Golf was a nice win last time. Red Lion won well last time as well. And Taj Dragon at a bit of a price.
Got all the animals covered there. Birdies, dragons, lions, it's all happening. What's the best of them?
Red Elegance. I like this horse. I like the way it's trialled. It's bred for further as well, but he's just showing so much pace. So race 3, number 8, Red Elegance, Zach Purden aboard. And then in the last, 13, Taj Dragon. Came from last time, hit the line really strongly behind Red Lion. And I think he should be a bit of a price in an open race. And we'll do the play in the sprint with We Are Hero, California Deeply, and a first starter called Northern Beaches.
Best bet for me comes up in the 6th race. It is California Deeply. Tony Cruz and Davinson Ho has to take on We Are Hero, but we know he's got a really powerful finish on him, does California Deeply, but can get out of his ground. He's drawn on the far side in barrier 1. Eternal Bloom coming to 1,400 metres wasn't bad, I thought, last time out. Jerry Chow takes weight off the back of this horse for Ricky Yu and will take Solid Impact, Run Buddy and Eternal Bloom as the QQP in race number 11, 4, 6 and 7.
Going for race 10, number 5, Packing Treadmill. Chase Home Victor, the winner the last time he was seen on the racecourse. Of course, Victor, the winner, absolutely smoked them. Packing Treadmill will have to overcome barrier number 12, but he's a very, very honest horse. Like the way always Fluke found the line at Happy Valley last start. He steps up in trip to the 1,200 metres for the first time, and that does look to be a bonus. Vincent Ho ride for David Hayes, and the play, race number 10, the second last. The Golden Scenery, so consistent. Packing Treadmill and Red Lion coming up in grade on the back of that last start win, 2, 5 and 9 for race number 10. Circuit Stella's looking for the hat-trick, but does have to carry an extra £9. That has been Racing to Win for a big day coming up on Sunday, Tom, and then it's back to normal transmission on Wednesday night at the Valley.
Yeah, Wednesday night, so we've got racing there, 1650 Class 2, the main event. Savaquin, the informed Nimble Nimbus going around. I see Magniac, Paul, going to Happy Valley for the first time.
We'll see how he goes there, and Gold Baby, can he win again?
He's a very good horse, Gold Baby. We'll preview that show for you next week. But we've got a big day coming up at Sha Tin on Sunday. The Griffins appear. Of course, California Spangle started his career in the Griffins. We might get to see if there's another one this week. Yeah,
it could well be. Carrying Victories, he's looked really good in his trials. But there isn't a Japanese bred horse called Joyful Prosperity, I think will run well.
That race is at 12:30, and we'll see you then for the first at Sha Tin.